Welcome to the Real Life Buyer podcast. In this podcast, you will hear interviews with business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, authors, and technical specialists in their field. These professionals will hasten your development, accelerate your career, and broaden your business know-how. Now, introducing your host, Dave Barr, interviewing with a purchasing twist.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Life Buyer. My guest today is Christoffer Flemstrom. He's the founder and visionary behind Klara Färdiga Film, a video production company that believes in making film creation accessible to all. After gaining experience in traditional film production, Christoffer developed an innovative content-as-a-service model, thus allowing business owners to create content at a set monthly cost. Today, I want to discover more about the model, how it is effectively and efficiently servicing its clients with quality video at appealing budget levels. So without further ado, I welcome Christoffer onto the podcast. Hi, Christoffer.
Hi, Dave. Thanks a lot for being here, or thanks a lot for inviting me.
Well, I'm welcome to be here. And I'm very pleased that you're here with me today as well. So it's great for us to have a chat. Obviously, you're calling in from Sweden today, a country I know pretty well, lovely place to be. So I'm quite curious about video. It's something that is kind of exploding. It continues to explode, especially with demands from social media channels and new channels. You know, we all know TikTok, and everybody seems to be wanting to have video and needing to create video to pull people in. So I'm curious, I'm not sure exactly when you started in the video world, but there must have been some motivations behind your choice of career. And then subsequently, the disruption that you felt was necessary in this market. Can you talk us through the background of that and why you are where you are now?
So I've always been self-taught in video and films, basically. I come from a background of art and painting, drawing, but I got into photography and filmmaking. And I actually studied in London as well before Corona. So basically, I come from a self-taught background, but I studied in the UK and in the US. And I saw that as long when you started doing bigger films and bigger crews, they became the whole film production process became almost focused on the logistics of things instead of the creative things, which is the thing that I love the most. So it became like a timeline of like you had your idea here, and then you have the finished product here, and everything in between is almost logistics. So it's impossible to get that idea really right or that story that you want to tell. So I was just frustrated with that. And because I came from a self-taught background, I thought, why not just do it yourself? So, that's where it all started, I guess. The idea of it doesn't have to be a big crew to go on a film set to make a social media video. You just need one person that is good at audio, video, and directing, and boom.
Brilliant. So I want to get some idea of the scale we're talking here. So obviously you're based in London. You're in one of the big studios. When you say about logistics, that screams to me multiple people, multiple bits of kit, lorries moving stuff around and all sorts. Is that the kind of size of operation you were involved in at the time? Can you give us some scale to it?
Yeah, we were 15 people, I would say, on a film set. So it was 3 people on camera, 2 people on audio, and then you had producers, actors on set, and first AD, director. So basically, and of course, then you had helpers like gaffers and extra hands on set to basically move equipment. So just to get an extra shot, it could take half an hour just to move the tripod and the camera. And that to me was just, no, I can't be doing this.
Okay. I watch the credits, the end of movies, and you see descriptions like gaffer and key grip. And I'm thinking, what the hell do these people do? I've got no idea.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's quite a fascinating place to be when you learn about this kind of stuff. So obviously what you're talking about, that scale, is cost. There's a lot of wages there, a lot of equipment, and as you say, time that is taken to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you wanted to create this, as you say, a content as a service model. Can you explain exactly what the definition from you that is, and what the benefits and advantages there are to somebody wants to utilize that service, why do they want to do this?
Yeah. So basically, an easier expression I would say is subscription. So you subscribe to video content, and every month we produce a video or we create an animation for you as a client. So we book a date for a shoot. We create an idea, or we create the idea with the client. We pitch it, plan it, edit it, film it, and deliver it. And we do that every month. So in fact, most of our clients are on longer subscriptions, like 12 months or 3 months. And that means the flexibility to try different routes is so much easier. Like if you want to, let's say, try to do some HR video ads for you to, find new employees, you can try that month. And then you can see, did that give anything the next month? Okay, do we need to change something with them? Okay, we need to change the message, need to be earlier. We need to cut straight to the message because nobody's clicking this, because it takes 5-10 seconds until people know what company it's from even. So we re-edit that and we post it again. Oh, now we see it actually has, we're getting some attention here, or we're getting some attention. And then the next month you're like, okay, let's create some more of those, or let's create some sales videos instead that pitches our company. So it's a real flexibility of trying different videos, especially for ads, but also in general when you need to communicate things maybe to your company as a whole. Maybe you need a Christmas message, or you just want to make a tutorial of some sort. Like, it's really flexible. Instead of making one production, you can afford a whole year of subscription with us. So you can even skip a few months and you're still getting a lot more than you would from another company.
Okay. So with a subscription model, that means you've got kind of guaranteed income month after month, which obviously helps cash flow, shall we say.
Yeah.
So that's good for you. For them, they have a guaranteed time. Now, I don't know how the time is packaged, where they have a certain slot they have to, perform within, shall we say. And they've got certainty with this, though they know it's going to be the same cost. They're not expecting suddenly a big bill this month because of something coming through. So I guess there's a little bit of risk on your side if things go over the time that you've allowed. But then the next month it could be a shorter shoot, I guess.
That's why we have different, we have so many more clients than a regular video agency has. So for us, if 1 month it costs a bit more, maybe a few more drafts, that will even out on another client. So for us, it's more about making the client happy and seeing it as a long relationship, because it's so much more valuable to us.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Now, just trying to put some context around the kind of videos you're recording. Are these, I'm thinking out loud now, could it be product-based videos? Could it be people wearing certain types of clothing, like a catwalk type of shoots? What sort of things are your regular kind of customers?
So we've looked into a lot of e-commerce recently. We thought that was a really interesting market, so we started pushing towards that one. So we did recently we did a shoot with a purse company, or a woman's bag company. So we did a really nice shoot with a model in Old Town in Stockholm that almost looks like Italy, but it's really cool. Not. It was the only sunny day in Stockholm. But we also do regular product shoots in our office and in our studio. But the most common video is, the testimonial video where somebody's talking to the camera, and that could be a sales pitch, that could be a CEO talking about this company.
Okay. Now, quite interested now in respect that some of these people are used to doing a video shoot, and clearly this would be pretty alien to some people. Is part of the service, what you do, helping to kind of school them in some way, educate them on how to come across most effectively, how to get the best bang for their buck, so to speak?
100%. I hire people that are therapists, almost, but most of them have actually been working in medcare here somehow, but they're really sympathetic people, and they know how to handle people that are nervous. That's key. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to deliver to clients, because even actors won't perform if the director can't create a mode on set that is relaxed and you're comfortable, you feel confident and trustworthy in the director. And that's key in our camera personnel as well.
Okay, yes, that's an aspect I hadn't thought of. So you've got to create the mood, the kind of vision, the atmosphere that relates to what you're trying to record. You know, you see sometimes on the TV, you've got a green screen behind people, and for all I know, it's just a white box they're performing in. It's much more than that, though, to get the best effects, I take it.
Definitely. I think, to me, it's some people get hung up on details like, oh, this looks overexposed, or we have a branch hanging in here or something like that. But to me, it's the message. And if you deliver the message in a confident way, if the person looks relaxed, you're going to trust them. You're going to continue watching the video, because it's all about delivering that message in a clear way and feel comfortable doing it as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you won't believe that person. So if it's an ad, then there's no use of doing it.
Yeah. So I guess it's got to come across as natural as well, that the people are actually believing what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
If it's too wooden, it will, I guess, stand out in quite a prominent way that it's all sort of architrave. You know, I think the right word for this. It's, you know, it's a set. Some of these things you see even on the movies look so obviously like a set and fabricated rather than being a natural kind of experience.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I guess when you started to do this, there must have been some challenges. You're developing and implementing, I guess, something quite new. So what were the kind of challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
A lot of the challenges, I would say, is to convince clients that this is actually a good thing to do. And you should trust that we can deliver on our promises. Because usually when we come out to clients, the first impression is, oh, it's only you and that bag. And when I'm on set, we're two people, because it's the camera person and me. And I usually say jokingly, next time we'll be even less people. And as soon as they see the finished product, it's not a question about it anymore. But it's that first, uncertainty always. But also, of course, like how do we package our product? That was a big struggle in the beginning as well, to make it, work basically.
Okay, that's quite interesting, because I guess you've got to now help people to understand what they're going to get. It sounds like they expected a whole camera crew and goodness knows what sets of gear. In some ways, it might have been quite nice to see it's less intimidating with just a few people and a little bit more low key than a great big entourage. But they, as you say, it appears like they were concerned that they were going to get value out of your offering. Yeah. And you had to demonstrate that, obviously, that all the quality is still there.
Yeah.
Let's move on slightly, because what's key in this is that you need to have a fairly slick production. You've got to have efficiencies, you've got to have productivity, you've got to make sure you're doing things in an economic way, both for yourself and the client. You need to make obviously decent profit out of this. So what things are different with the way you do things, other than the people and the capital investment we're talking here, somewhat different in the production of the videos? Are there certain things that you've had to do which is unconventional to the video market, but gives you some great savings in your processes that you don't get in other productions?
I think the way we plan the process is quite slimmed. We try to plan it very simply by letting the client prepare the script, since he is or she is the person that knows their company the best. And of course, we can help them out with it and give feedback on it. But I think they know how to say their message. And if they need help, we can, of course, help them with that. But that's a way of our time saving. And we basically bounce it back and forth between us. And then we finalize it just a week or two before shooting. And also, I think it's usually 2 hours to 4 hours, our shoots. So we really have slimmed down the shooting schedule as well. So I think everything is slimmed basically to the maximum, even our gear. I want it to be lightweight. I want it to be easy. I want it to be good. The equipment should never be, they are always just tools to meet or to deliver on the product. And people are just too hung up on gear, I feel. They're always talking about cameras, especially clients love to talk about them. But I'm all about, okay, but I can make it look good with a 12-year-old camera. If I just light it well, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. So I think that's it.
Yeah. I think that's interesting talking about technology and tools. I think the craze of wanting the latest iPhone, for example, or latest Android device, people have been kind of programmed to expect you must have the latest in technology to deliver the best results. But at the end of the day, as you say, it's how you use it.
Yeah.
Think of Formula One cars, you can put a terrible driver behind the best car and it won't perform.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the same in the camera world, where you have a standard that you've got to achieve and you've got to use the right tools, and it's how you use those things and how you implement and work them. And what tricks there are to getting great video production, I guess. And no matter how the latest tech somebody else is using, if they haven't got that experience, the knowledge, the tips and tricks that really bring the best out in both people and the set, then it doesn't matter. As you say, you could have a 12-year-old camera and still produce much better quality than somebody with the latest device.
As long as you know it, it should be like it should be just an extension of your hand. Because if I know my 12-year-old camera better than he knows his new camera, then I'm done, or he's done, because he's not going to be able to make as good of a video as me if it's a competition. I mean,
yeah, of course. So the tech is important to a point, but it's more about experience and competence and know-how that gets the best results. Okay. And if we say about other technology, I guess it's software and how you use that. Is it critical that you've got the latest in that with the latest bells and whistles, or would you say not so much?
I would say, again, I don't want the technology to come in the way. So if I have a computer that is decent and it doesn't have any hiccups when I'm editing, that's perfect for me. In terms of software for planning and everything like that, we always try to strive to better our process of handling the amount of projects that we're handling. How can we efficient this? How can we improve upon our process? So we're always trying to work on those. And I think that structure inside the company has a much more effect than we just, get a new computer, for example. Like, the hardware is not the problem. I think it's usually about communication inside the company and how can we make that better, or communication as a whole. It's client, company, that relationship is so important. And when it works well, you can perform magic.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm thinking about people now, because you touched on a clear point here. It's people who make things work properly. So I'm thinking of the models that you may use. Do you use consistently people who are experienced with your process more so than getting just new models? I guess, actors and so forth. Do you have a pool of people that you can draw upon that really understand what you're about, how you work, and that, I assume, makes things a lot easier? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think most of our actors that we're using, we have a pool in different cities, or for every city that we're working in, basically. And they are experienced with us because we have a different process. A 2 hours shoot is a very short shoot for them. And usually they haven't had the time to, they've looked at the script, they've gotten to know the script, but usually that means a lot of improvisation, for example. So I like to work with actors that are, that accept that, because a lot of actors don't feel comfortable with that as well. So, and that's fine. It's just, in order for us to perform something, I like to keep it a bit fluid on set. Yeah.
Now, it's an interesting point you mentioned there, is that for them, doing a 2-hour shoot is quite short.
Yeah.
Now, does that cause a problem in the fact, if these people are paid hourly, do they now look upon working with yourself as they'll kind of fit that in? Because if they can get a 5-hour shoot with another company that doesn't perhaps work in the way you do, is that more attractive to them than doing a 2-hour shoot with you? Do you have to battle for models and actors because of that, or is that not an issue?
It's the same as with the clients. You always have to, I think, because this is a new model of making video or doing shoots that people are not used to. It's a learning curve, and some people like it. Some people feel it's flexible. The actors that we do find work for and are comfortable with us are usually the actors that get the most jobs from us.
Yeah.
So it might be a shorter shoot, but it might be a lot more shoots with us.
Yeah. So the frequency increases. And
Yeah.
obviously, the more experienced, the more comfortable you both are with each other, that just develops and develops. And of course, more clients, more shoots,
Yeah.
etc. Okay. And I guess the other people element, which you touched on a bit earlier, is I guess you get slicker and more organized in helping the clients get ready quicker, delivering their message in a more succinct and competent way. So it's critical, I guess. The people you mentioned earlier on, I think you mentioned psychologists, whatever the case they are, the better they are in making people relaxed and fit your model as well, is also a benefit because they don't need so many reshoots, I guess.
Yeah, because the thing is that we like to use the same camera personnel for the same clients. So they start developing a relationship and they start to get to know each other really well. So of course they get more comfortable with them. They even go on after works with each other, and that thing I think is the benefit of us having the subscription service, because we don't come in to IKEA and do just a one-time big production, send them an invoice and like have fun, see you in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
We try to put a lot of effort into our relationships, and I feel it shows in all our departments. People really care for the clients. That's really nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The frequency of being together, how comfortable you both are, you're used to how things work. I see you next month. It's more of a family type arrangement than, should we say, a transactional type of arrangement. Okay. Now, we mentioned at the beginning that social media, digital platforms are driving more and more demand for video content. Now, that must mean that this is a landscape, an industry that is developing very, very quickly. New things are coming to the fore. So how do you make sure that your clients' content and what you deliver remains just as impactful now as it was 6 months ago when people did things slightly differently? How do you stay ahead of the curve and really make sure your content stands out more than the competitors who are using other people, let's say?
Yeah. Well, I try to be as informed as possible as I can. And of course, I'm a person, so I have my failures. But the good thing is that we're a lot more people than just me. So we have coordinators that coordinate the client's jobs, and they are called creative coordinators for a reason, because they come up with a lot of brilliant ideas. So it's usually in discussions and brainstorms that we come up with the new plans and new ideas, and it usually comes from something that somebody saw on social media, because that's where I feel you should have your eyes on. What works for other people usually works for you, but it's not a recipe, but it can inspire you. And we also have a social media manager that helps us and helps the clients, and she always has some good ideas.
Brilliant. Now, we all love to hear success stories. I want to know, give me some examples of some clients that you've worked with. You don't have to name names, but where you've taken them from maybe a standing start or working with other video companies, and what you've done has transformed the way either they market their products, is exploded their sales. Have you got some examples that you can share that has really made a difference to those companies?
Yeah, we have a really nice story actually with a company that is called Iris. That is actually one of our first clients, and they work with basically support aids or support equipment for people that has sensory defects or maybe a loss of eyesight or loss of hearing. And they started out as a company that is quite small and didn't have a real proper website, and they were really close with Swedish government and got funds from there as well. So, I mean, they didn't have a lot of budget for films as well. And they basically couldn't afford it before they got to know us. And now they're sitting in an office in the middle of town in Stockholm. And we've been working together for 3 years doing basically ads for them.
Yeah, so you really helped establish that company, make their business grow. I know that Stockholm is not the cheapest of places to reside and have a commercial property. So the fact now they're in a much more profitable situation, their products are better known, and they're helping to drive sales because of your input into their products. So that's a great thing to hear about. So I'm sure people are curious. If people want to find out more about what you do as a company, where should they go? What's the website, the social media channels? Where should they look?
So they can go to the website and it's KLARAFARDIGA film.com/UK. I'm sure you will put it in the show notes.
Well,
because
indeed.
It's klarafärdigafilm.com. And we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. It's the same name. You can just look us up there. We try to keep it civil on Instagram, and we're a bit more naughty on TikTok, of course. But yeah, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn if you want to, and we can chat more.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, before we finish, we're all seeing the revolution with AI, particularly in video content. I keep seeing when I'm scrolling through social media, these artificially generated videos. Now, I guess in some ways they could be perhaps a little bit of a threat. Perhaps they give you an opportunity to use that technology in some way. So I'd love to know how you see the future of video developing, what exciting things are going to happen, how is it going to reshape the future? What's your thoughts and how do you see you can impact this area going forwards?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the DSLR revolution of the early 2000s. People are going to get access to equipment that was not accessible to them before. So I think a lot more people are going to be able to make videos, which is really interesting. But I think for us as a company, we're just going to implement AI. I mean, as soon as we have a new plugin or we have a new AI software, I'm going to look into it and see if we can implement it to our working process. It's just going to make our work easier, I think. And we're going to be able to, again, focus on the creative, focus on the story, because has always been the center for me anyway. So if we can cut down on our editing time, well, that's brilliant, because then I can focus on the creative instead.
You see, is there a large proportion of what you do, should we say, autonomous in such a way that AI can have a big impact? Are we talking about 20% potential reduction in time in processing and doing things, or are we talking enormous 50%? Can you give us some parameters about that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna I'm too scared to guess on that, because I think we're at the point where people thought the internet would only be Googling a dog and then seeing dog images.
Yeah.
I think we have no idea what impact AI is going to do to us yet. We have just a tiny slither right now. And I think it's gonna change the way we consume and produce. And how, I don't know.
Yeah. And for your business, do you have any great plans? Is there anything exciting that you can give teasers about what's coming up in the next year or two or more?
Yeah, I think we're expanding, of course, to the UK and to the Scandinavian countries. And we have some exciting clients coming in. And so we're going to start doing a lot more video shoots abroad. I think that's the biggest plan right now. And we're celebrating our 3rd year. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep on working on making cool productions. I think that's the plan. We launched a new website.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it's great to hear what's happening and how you've managed to change the opportunity for people to have fantastic video production at a much more economic cost. As you mentioned, companies can now have your services that were never dreamed of having video shoots in the past. So you're really reshaping the video production world. So thanks very much for sharing everything you have today. Fascinating discussion. Obviously, as you say, there's lots of mileage, there's lots of things to happen, but obviously I wish you all the best for your future.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
So there's another Real Life Buyer podcast. I do hope you enjoyed it and it's given you some ideas and inspiration for greater action and achievement. If you are a purchasing or a supply chain professional, business owner or director, come and join my Facebook group, the Purchasing and Supply Chain Community Hub, a safe place to engage with like-minded, friendly people. See you soon. Bye.